After one is able to become a high performer, and leaders have to be able to be a high performer, they have to include high communication, high performance communication, the ability to use language effectively, the ability to engage another in a dialogue to discover greater truth, and this leads to conflict resolution. To understand conflict, you really have to be able to recognize it as a difference. It's a difference between two or more persons or groups characterized by tension, emotionality, disagreement, or even polarization, but only where the bonding is lacking or broken. You see, here's the important point. If you maintain a bond, if you keep a connection, even with a big difference, you don't truly have a conflict. And if you have a small difference, but you break the bond, it can escalate into high levels of conflict. There are examples all around the world of political, organizational, and personal relationships that lead to resolution of conflict or to the escalation of conflict. One of the great stories that I like is between Gorbachev and Reagan, who started out as arch enemies. And at one point when they came together, they got into a very heated exchange. And Reagan, having an amygdala hijack, stood up and started to walk out of the room. However, he stopped at the door, turned around, and came back with hands outreached, said to Gorbachev, "I would like to accomplish something man to man, leader to leader, and I'd like to start by calling you with your first name, Mikhail, and I'd like for you to call me Ron. Are you interested in that?" Gorbachev responded by reaching out his hand, shaking Reagan's hand, saying, "Hi, Ron." And Reagan responded with, "Hi, Mikhail." That led to a bond that allowed for the de-escalation of the nuclear arms race, but even more importantly, it led to a personal friendship between the two of them. They actually created that bond over time, and Reagan, near his death, was actually invited through the wife of Reagan, Gorbachev, to come in and visit him far into his Alzheimer's disease. Here's the point about leadership. Leaders must be able to deal with differences. And within a cultural context, North American, South American, European, Asian, there are many different cultural ways of looking at conflict. In the end, difference has to be dealt with. And being able to recognize that when you don't deal with differences, those conflicts become like fish under the table. And fish under the table start smelling. So what leaders have to do within the context of their own culture, be able to effectively put on the table what the issues are, go through the bloody mess of cleaning that fish for what? The great fish dinner at the end of the day. And where you have high bonding, high systems of talking and communicating, and good conflict resolutions, differences get dealt with very, very quickly and directly, and organizations maintain their high-performing energy and the ability to get high-performing results. It doesn't happen without the leader modeling, inspiring, and demanding that takes place on teams.